when you unmask a pathological narcissist, what you will see is a dark, evil, mocking spirit. And this spirit mocks your goodness. It mocks your humanness. It mocks your humanity. Because the spirit that operates the pathological narcissist is a spirit of chaos and derision. Now, today's video was inspired by a comment left right here on the channel by Miss Jackie. And Miss Jackie writes, when my malignant narc was around me, he would say, "You allowed me in your door. And if you would have never let me in, I would never have a chance to be this abusive." This video truly resonates with me because I am fully aware now that he was a vampire after watching this. I was drained and no longer recognized my identity or my potential. People, when you are able to look behind the veil of body and truly discern the spirit of the pathological narcissist, you know that you are dealing with a black hole. You are interacting with a void. You are interacting with an energy source that only consumes. So it is important to understand that pathological narcissists, those that have narcissistic personality disorder, and understand that narcissistic personality disorder often overlaps with antisocial personality disorder, that which you may commonly call sociopathy or psychopathy, because both of these are in the cluster B personality disorders. Understand that at the core of these disorders is that these individuals abandon their spirits in childhood. And spirit is who we are. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spirit, or if you want to say source energy, light, a light being, prana, chi, the observer, the watcher, consciousness, governing a physical body with access to tools, namely our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions. So if I say that we are spirit and pathological narcissists abandon their spirit, then pathological narcissists abandon their light. So at their core, they are dark. So if we are life or life force, then pathological narcissist people at their core are as close as you can get to a spiritual death. Their spirits are dying. They are black holes. And what are black holes? Black holes are stars that are at the end of their life cycle. So when a star is alive, then you're going to see a bright, shining, glowing star in the sky. But understand that stars, while alive, well, they're going to go through their own death process. And when they're close to death, then we say that they are a black hole. A black hole is a collapsed star. It is a dying star. It is a star with its luminosity at, let's say, about 5%. So black holes consume light. That is what pathological narcissists are at their core. They are evil at their core. What is evil? Evil is the opposite of the living. Evil is against the living. Evil is antisocial in nature. It is against the building of communities. It is against the building of societies. Evil is antisocial. Evil is destructive energy. And that is what you have at the core of the pathological narcissist. So you could be dealing with a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic intimate partner, a narcissistic business partner. This person could be a sibling. They could be a neighbor. You could be dealing with a narcissistic friend. And understand that a narcissistic friend is a frenemy. They are an enemy in disguise because these people want to destroy you. Because again, at their core, they are dark. You are dealing with wolves in sheep's clothing. Pathological narcissists do not have love to give. They have hate to give. They have envy to give. They have lies to give. They have connivery to give. They have chaos to give because they are stuck in the third dimension. So every day they wake up, they're in the first dimension, but at best they get to pride, dysfunctional pride, and dysfunctional pride cometh before the fall, and they fall right back down to shame, back in the first dimension. This is their level of vibration. So oftentimes on the channel, you'll hear me state that pathological narcissists are rooted in their shame and they are unable to move past their pride. And oftentimes I'll use the Hawkins scale so that you can truly have a visual representation of what you're really dealing with. Understand that the energy, the vibration where pathological narcissists are at is at the bottom of the spiritual ladder. We're talking about dregs at the bottom of the spiritual cup. They are stuck in victim abuser consciousness because these individuals have very severe psycho-spiritual arrested development. They did not develop past their lower ego, and this makes them very destructive individuals because, again, there is no love at the bottom of the Hawkins scale. When you think about love as a vibration, then you're going to find that right up there in the 500s. Love and empathy and peace and joy are high vibration emotions that pathological narcissists simply do not have access to, and they have never had access to. Because again, they have severe psycho-spiritual arrested development. So at the level of the psyche, we're talking about an impairment at the level of the mind power because they are losing their minds. We're talking about emotional arrested development because they are based in shame and they cannot move past their pride. So they do not have access to courage. They do not have access to neutrality. They do not have access to acceptance. They do not have access to love. They do not have access to peace. They do not have access to joy, etc. They top out at pride. And we're not talking about pride here like taking pride in your work. We're talking about dysfunctional pride. This is where their grandiosity and their false sense of superiority comes from. So they are looking down at you because there is no equality in the third dimension. And when it comes to the level of the will, then they have an impaired will or an underdeveloped will because, again, these individuals are very impulsive and or compulsive. And it is when you have developed the will or when you have worked on the will where you will be disciplined. Pathological narcissists are not disciplined. They're impulsive and compulsive. And this is why you'll see where they'll run off to find the new supply. And they'll cheat on their husbands and their wives and their girlfriends and their boyfriends and so on. So again, they have severe psychological problems. And this is what the clinicians are referring to as a personality disorder. So you can think of the psyche, the personality, or the soul as a similar equivalent. So clinicians will say they have a personality disorder, or you'll hear me refer to them as lost souls or dark souls because they are dark at their core. And if they are dark at the spirit level, if they are dark at their core, then this darkness is going to spread outside. It is going to spread itself into the mind. It's going to spread to the emotions. It is going to spread to the will. And eventually, you're going to see this darkness on the outside. Because if you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. If you squeeze a grape, you get grape juice. And if pathological narcissists are filled with darkness on the inside, you will eventually see that darkness on the outside. So you will see when you unmask the narcissist that you are dealing with a evil, mocking spirit. And oftentimes you will see where they will provoke you and they will have a micro smile or a Grinch-like grin on their face because they are feeding on your pain because, again, you're dealing with a very dark spirit. And oftentimes you will feel a very palpable dark force in the room if you are with them. And this palpable dark force travels with them because, again, they are low vibrational beings. Shame, being based in shame, waking up every day in the first dimension, people, that is about as low as one can get. And understand that this pathological shame, pathologically low self-esteem so low that they would have to look up to see it, goes along with their dysfunctional pride. So you're dealing with someone that believes that they are perfect, and perfect people won't need to change. They're perfect. They're done growing, you see. Hence, pride cometh before the fall, and they fall right back down to shame, because you have to let go of a lower emotion to get to a more positive emotion. And because pathological narcissists are incapable of letting go of their pride, well, they do not have access to courage. They do not have access to neutrality. They do not have access to acceptance. They do not have access to love, peace, forgiveness, and so on. Hence, they are stuck at the bottom of the consciousness ladder. And this is why pathological narcissism is regressive, because it gets worse over time, because they are devolving. They age like milk. I've done a previous video before where I mentioned that the story of Smeagol's devolution into Gollum is the story of the pathological narcissist. So you are dealing with someone that is losing their minds. You are dealing with someone that is losing control of their emotions. And you're dealing with someone that is losing control of their will. And again, at their core, their spirits are shriveling up. And again, you will eventually see this on the outside, because all of what I've just described is happening behind the physical veil. And you will see people where pathological narcissists will start to mock you because they believe that you are naive for falling for their deception. That is the spirit that you are dealing with. So know that the true spirit that you're dealing with is what you saw in the discard and the devalue. The mask is what you are seeing in the Hoover stage and the love bomb stage. And the easiest way that I can describe this to you is to think about the Chucky doll. Chucky is the master of deception, because Chucky pretends to be a good guy doll, but that is a mask to hide the evil spirit that is in the background, because the spirit that operates the Chucky doll, people, is the spirit of a serial killer, an evil spirit. But Chucky knows that if he came to you with the evil spirit persona, you would not fall for the deception. So he puts on the good guy doll mask. And that is how pathological narcissists operate. So in the love bomb, understand that that was a lie. Pathological narcissists are people of the lie. So what you thought was a mutually beneficial intimate relationship, for example, was not. On day 0, there was deception, because there is a bomb attached to the word love, because pathological narcissists do not have love to give. They have never had love to give. What they have to give is lies, connivery, chaos, and abuse, because love bombing people is the first step in the abuse cycle. There is no love to begin with. So what happens is you're in the middle of this cycle and you want to go back to the beginning where you thought there was love, but there was no love. You are in a wash, rinse, spin, repeat cycle until you get the courage to walk away and stay away, until you gain access to the 4th dimension or higher and walk away. Because again, abusers are looking for victims because they live in victim abuser consciousness. Again, every day the pathological narcissist wakes up, they're in shame. And at best, they get to dysfunctional pride, and pride cometh before the fall, and they fall right back down to shame. So understand that you're dealing with someone that does not have the ability to give you accountability. To get accountability for someone, they have to get to the 4th dimension or higher. For someone to give you accountability, they need access to courage. They need the courage to be vulnerable. But in the pathological narcissist mind, in the pathological narcissist psyche, they believe that kindness is a weakness. And this is why they weaponize your kindness. This is why they weaponize your empathy. Because they believe it is a weakness. They believe that you are naive. That is the mocking spirit that you are dealing with. It mocks humanity. It mocks goodness. It mocks humanness. Because pathological narcissist people are people that have lost their humanity. And they have been stuck in the demonic, hellish realm of the first dimension for years, long before you came into the picture. They are the trees that snapped in the wind. And they really are wondering, how is it that you have not snapped? How is it that you have not been broken by all of the abuse and the chaos and the drama and the trauma that they have been putting you through? How is it that you still have your light? Because they want to extinguish your light. Because again, at their core, they are black holes, and black holes consume light. Pathological narcissists are the stars that are dying, while you are the star that is glowing. Pathological narcissists are the stars that are dying, while you are the star that is glowing. So understand that if you get entangled with a pathological narcissist, and pathological narcissists are black holes, then they must drain your light because they cannot get to your level. They're going to try to bring you down to their level. So it is important that you get the courage to ascend. It is important that you get the courage to walk away and stay away from these toxic personality types, because peace, love, empathy, kindness is on the other side of abuse. Again, those are high vibration emotions, and you have to leave the third dimension to get to those emotions. Pour all of that love, kindness, and compassion back into yourself, and this is how you will actually heal. If you're pouring into a pathological narcissist, you are pouring into a black hole. And that really is the message for today, kind folks. If you need help, I do offer one-on-one support on how to help you to heal properly from narcissistic abuse. Because again, if you don't get the accurate information and take action on that information, you will see where you still are surrounded by narcissistic user, abuser type individuals. And again, if you're not getting the results that you want, there is some information that you do not have. It is very dangerous to operate on inaccurate information if you're dealing with pathological narcissists. So for example, if you're going through a narcissistic intimate relationship, after intimate relationship, after intimate relationship, then there is something that you do not know. So I'll help you to patch those gaps, to patch those vulnerabilities, so that you can attract healthy and wholesome people and experiences into your life. Narcissistic abuse is not something that you should be dealing with for a lifetime, folks. Again, if you need help, go ahead and book a one-on-one session. All of the links are on this page, and in these video sessions, I'll guide you from A to Z on how to properly heal from narcissistic abuse, how to identify these abusive dynamics. We'll talk about the dysfunctional family systems. We'll talk about being the scapegoat or the lost child, and how to heal those wounds, so again, we can attract healthy and wholesome people and experiences into your life. So that's really the quick message for today, kind folks. Thank you so much for your continued support. Continue to like these videos. Ensure that you are subscribed for empowering content. If you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. Sheikah is the name. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.